Hello, I'm the Godless. Today, Ted Cruz said something that's quite disturbing, if I might say. It's not surprising at all, but it's quite disturbing. And I'll just let you listen to it.
Any president who doesn't begin every day on his knees isn't fit to be commander-in-chief of this country. Amen. Amen.
Engineer, a conscious pioneer, a logic general, a reason brigadier. More bullshit from the pulpit. Meet me in the comment section and you get schooled, bitch. The Godless Engineer.
Jesus Christ is far above all principality and power, all dominion and might. Can we say amen to that? Jesus Christ is King of kings and Lord of lords.
I think that should be just the point where a bunch of red bells and whistles and everything starts going off like a ring-a-ding-a-ding. And that the Christian dog, God to be this dictator that can't be. I mean, that's essentially what he's spouting here, is that God is above everything else. Start putting God above everything else, you start, your society starts regressing back to the Middle Ages where people were killing women because they were witches and stuff. And actually, this guy in this same conference was advocating for the senseless murder of homosexuals.
He is king of the president of the United States, whether he will admit it or not.
I don't think so. I mean, if you're going to go the route of the president subjects himself to God, whether or not he's religious, that's just asking for you to be wrong. I mean, what if the next president that gets in there doesn't, worship? I mean, one day that's going to happen, and for you to push that on other people is just really douchebaggy of you to do.
And that president should submit to his rule and to his law. Amen? Amen.
Yes, and just to clarify, his law includes the senseless murder of homosexuals, so continue.
Now, my friends, let me introduce to you the next candidate for the office of President of the United States. Folks, please make welcome Senator Ted Cruz.
Cruz. Good voting? That's what it looks like. He's about to go voting. Probably going to bring some slaves with him because biblical morality. Freedom 2015.
Okay. Senator Cruz, I've got a few questions for you, then I'd like to open it up so you could share your ideas with the audience today. And the first question is...
Man, all that God preaching's got to be tiring. He's sitting there halfway on a seat. I mean, geez, standing up, praising God has just got to be the most tiring thing in the world. Take all they're worth.
This.
Fire away, but you're not going to ask about fantasy football, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to go much tougher than that. No, this is an important question. This is the most important question that I ask any candidate who's running for political office, and that is this. How important is it for the President of the United States to fear God? And what does that mean to you?
Okay, first of all, we have a secular government. This question shouldn't even be brought up, but considering who's asking it, there's no big surprise. Me personally, although some people would disagree, I don't think that if you're religious, if your belief in God has a major place in your stance on social issues, you probably don't need to be in the White House. Like, you don't need to be governing us. If God is your main reason for anything that you set out to do, I really don't think that that's where your mind should be. That's where we get, slavery. That's where we get the subjugation of women. That's where we get, You know, all of these things. If you start going by the Bible, even if it's the cherry pick kind that I know Ted Cruz goes out of and everything, you're still asking to regress our society back like 50 years, because that's the time that these people idealize. They idolize this time period when a woman is barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen making a steak for her husband, and if she doesn't get home, so help me God, zing, zap, boom, straight to the moon.
Any president who doesn't begin every day on his knees
I'm guessing he's not talking about giving blowjobs, but
isn't fit to be commander-in-chief of this country. Amen. Amen.
I think that that's kind of a personal matter. Like, it shouldn't matter. That particular part of you shouldn't matter. What should matter as far as you being president should be your stance on social issues. It should be how you plan on fixing the shit that we're in. Those should be the ways that we do it. And those ways, it shouldn't include, God shouldn't even come into it, because we are a secular government. We are a secular society. I mean, you know, you Christians can argue that Christianity plays a really, really big role in American society, which it does. I'm not going to disagree with that point. But just because most of the people here in America do practice Christianity, which that's actually going down, by the way, just because most people do doesn't mean that should be the mindset of the person that is supposed to represent America as a whole. America as a whole is supposed to be a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and for you to say, well, a president has to start the day out on his knees or else he's just not fit to be president. No, Ted Cruz, you're not fit to be president because you have your nose so far up God's ass that I swear your nose is brown from the God shit that is on your nose. That's how far it is up God's ass. Which simultaneously, I don't know how you do this, but simultaneously, it's up your own ass as well. So you got a mixture of God shit, your shit, probably Jesus' shit too, all there on your face. And if you want to talk about a shit-eating grin, your face would win the shit-eating grin contest.